Welcome back to Cold Iron's Kitchen. I'm Wade. Tonight we're going to be making a very unique meal. It seems strange. We're going to start with all the things on the outside, the sides, and then work our way into the middle for the main. We're going to start by cooking our corn. Okay. What we got here is about 2 cups of frozen corn. And to this we're going to make a Mexi rice. So we're going to add a couple Mexi corn, rice is somewhere else. Add about 2 to 3 tablespoons of salsa to that. Now you'll note I didn't add anything else. It's still frozen. I'm going to just put the lid on and fire that up on low. What we're using here is Kitchen Craft by West Bend. It cooks on very low temperatures. Once steam starts coming out, you seal it, you turn off the heat, it will continue to cook. It's a fantastic cookware if you like to cook. Next we're going to move on to the rice. I like my gadgets. This is a Black & Decker rice cooker. We're going to make some dirty rice. To that we're going to add some broadleaf celery, just the leaves, not the stems. But broadleaf celery has got such great flavor in it. Trim those off there. Trim some more off here. Yeah, I'm using my ceramic knife again. Watch your fingers when you're using one of those. And we want to give it a real decent chop. Now this is called dirty rice because it's got things in it that normally you wouldn't have in rice. But I like the flavor of the celery. I like the body that it adds to a rice. Add that to our 1.5 cups of water in the cooker here. It's got a whole lot of color. We're also going to put in a tablespoon of sun-dried tomato. Now, I get mine packed in olive oil, so we won't need to add oil to this at all. And olive oil is pretty good stuff. Now, most rices call for seasoning, like salt, pepper, whatever. I put in a chicken bouillon cube. I crush one up, put that in there. That adds enough sodium to balance it out, and a couple other flavors. We're going to give it a squeeze of white pepper, and then we'll put in 3/4 cup of rice. Now you'll note that it's in a colander. The reason why, I rinse the rice. Today's rice you really don't have to rinse unless you're using a rice cooker. In the past, rice used to be packed with a talcum powder, which is why you had to rinse it. Now it's being done with a stable starch-based preservative to keep it from clumping up and shipping. So you don't really need to rinse it, but again with a rice cooker it's better, make much better rice. We'll move that to the back and hit the go button on that. Rice is going, corn is going. Now we're going to make the sauce to go on the chicken. Now the sauce, let's turn this pan on and get it warming up, is a reduced cream sauce. It's going to be a cilantro sauce, but it also has garlic in it. Move the garlic over there. A little bit of green's not going to hurt. Put a whole lot more in it. First off, we prepare the garlic for its destiny here. And give it a good chop. Now we're not going to thoroughly cook this garlic, we're just going to open it up. Anytime you heat up an herb or a spice, it's going to open up and give you more flavor. If you were to just boil this garlic as it sat, you'd get a garlic flavor, but not a bold one, not one that's going to jump out and get you. Okay, we're going to put some sesame oil in the pan, just a little bit. When it starts running loose just like that, add the garlic to it. So that should be down. And move it around a bit. We'll be back to you in a minute. Hi, we're back. You'll notice the garlic is just starting to brown. That's all we want to do is slightly brown. We're going to come over here to our cilantro. We've got about, a loose 1/2 cup of cilantro. We're going to run the knife through a few times to chop it down. Now, cilantro is a wonderful herb, But the funny thing about it is if you let it go to seed, it becomes a spice called coriander. So it can serve many purposes in its own life. So here we go. We got it coarsely chopped. And we're going to add it to the garlic. Again, we're trying to open it up a little bit. Make it give up its secrets. Now, we don't want to cook the garlic too long. Remember, if you burn garlic, it gets bitter. Okay, it's starting to open up just nicely. I can smell this stuff great. To this, we're going to add 1 pint of whipping cream. Before we do that, I think we're going to put a little sherry in there. Help loosen things up from the bottom of the pan. Get the two of them working together. There we go. Takes all the goodie off the bottom of the pan, adds flavor. And that's pretty much all there is to this sauce. We're going to put it on low heat over here on the back burner and let that cook down while we're working on the rest of the dinner. So, I'll be back with you in a minute. Now we're going to put together tequila chicken, or tequila lime chicken. First thing we're going to do is make the dressing, or the wash for the chicken. We start with about a cup of milk, and then 1 egg white. We want just the chicken to hold together when it gets in there. So, it's just a wash. And we're going to add that to this chicken here. Now, I already cut the chicken up. I mean, it takes like 5 minutes maybe to cut up 1.5 pounds of chicken. Cut it into strips, such as this. And we're just going to pour this wash all over that. Let that soak in there for, the time it takes me to put the breading together. Now the breading is a real simple thing, especially the way I do it. Start with a gallon-sized Ziploc bag and 1.5 cups of flour. Now we're going to add some things to that flour. We're going to add some ground cumin, about a 1/2 teaspoon. About a 1/2 teaspoon. About a 1/4 teaspoon of celery seed. Quarter teaspoon of ground allspice. It's definitely not a 1/4 teaspoon. Here we go. About a 1/2 teaspoon of garlic powder. Right there. And being as this is supposed to be kind of a spicy dish, an entire teaspoon of cayenne pepper. And just a little black pepper to round it out. A couple pinches of salt. I'm using a kosher salt in this one. You can use a sea salt. You can use Morton. It's up to you which flavors you like. Now we're going to mix the breading together. Real tough task. Okay, breading's mixed. Now from there, we're going to make sure the chickens are all nicely coated in the wash. Pick them up, shake them a little. Pop them in the bag. Pick up, shake a little. Pop them in the bag. And once we get this all done, the chickens are in there. I'm going to rinse my hand real quick. Always try to keep your hands clean. Now when you seal the bag, make sure there's plenty of air in it because you want some movement spots. This takes all the fuss out of breading something. You'll note that I'm not covering the counter in flour. Everything gets evenly coated. Breading done. Okay, let's take a quick look at our sauce over here. It's burbling up nicely. We're trying to reduce this by at least 1/2. Okay, you want to knock it down by 1/2. It makes a nice creamy sauce. Okay. Pan is warming up, and we're going to add some sesame oil to the pan. And then we're going to put some olive oil in the pan. We're going to do a mixture of oils here. Because olive oil and sesame oil have such wonderful flavors. Now you want to cook the chicken to just barely done. The reason being is there's another stage to this. So we throw our chicken pieces in here, start them sizzling. You see how even that breading is there? It's just a fantastic method. It's been a time saver for me. Now you'll probably have to cook your chicken in 2 stages. I've got 1.5 pounds of chicken here because we're cooking for 3 people. And a ½ pound of chicken is going to cook down to just a little less than ½ pound per person. And if we don't eat it all, that's great because it makes a fantastic sandwich or a snack later. Back with you in a bit. Let's take a look over at our sauce. You'll see that it has been reduced by about, half, maybe a little over half. Something about reducing cream. You have to stir it occasionally and make sure you scrape the sides because with cream, what you're doing is you're burning out the water and getting a nice buttery effect here. It's thickening up nicely. So we're going to do several things in rapid succession at this point. We're going to deglaze this pan. Now the tequila part comes in now. For those of you who have a problem with alcohol, don't worry about it. The alcohol cooks out. What we're doing is we're bringing the oils up out of the pan and we're adding a tequila scent. To this, we're going to add limes. Lots of limes. Squeeze them, throw them in. Squeeze and throw in. This makes its own little sauce, but it flavors this chicken so well. Yes, I'm leaving the skins in because the oils cook out of the skins and it just makes it delicious. That's all it does. And all the limes are in there. We're going to throw the lid back on there. And let that cook. Take a look back over here at the sauce. I'm going to put a little lime juice on that. Now, for the sauce, we're going to bring the sauce together right now with a little bit of Parmesan cheese. Now, I've already shredded up the Parmesan cheese. But a word on Parmesan. I like to use fresh Parmesan. Okay? I buy a big wedge of it. And I use something called a microplane. And it's made by Sharper Cutting Tools. And it works really good. If you watch this, just give it a wiggle like that, and you'll see the shreds just come flying out of there. So much better than that stuff with the green top. Now we got about a tablespoon of Parmesan in this. We'll stir that in. And you see how thick this is getting? Yeah, this is a really rich sauce, but it can be used on the chicken. It can be used on ham. Really, it can. Fish. Cilantro lends itself to many, many foods, and all of them great. Okay, well that's bubbling some more. We're going to come back over here to the chicken, take a look at that, and we're seeing that, yep, it's finishing up. You see this sauce down here at the bottom getting nice and thick? When that salt solidifies completely, the chicken is done. Back with you in a minute. Dish up our meal here. I'm going to get a couple pieces of lettuce over here. The reason why is you should have some green on your plate no matter what. We're going to put some of this corn, this Mexicorn right there. And throw some of these chickens down. Now, when you're cutting up a chicken breast, you're going to get all sorts of weird pieces. This is not pre-formed chicken. Add a little bit of this dirty rice to it. Touch of sauce. And there you have it. What you're looking at, tequila lime chicken, dirty rice, and Mexicorn. Thanks for watching.